Privacy, it's a word we hear all the time, but in 2026, it's become almost mythical, a concept that feels more like a memory than a reality. In 2026, privacy is almost a relic, like an old computer gathering dust in the corner of a sleek modern office. The world has moved on, but at what cost? Every click, every search, every message you send is tracked, analyzed, and sold to the highest bidder. Our digital footprints are everywhere, and they're growing with every swipe and tap. We're not just users, we're the product. Our habits, interests, and even our secrets are packaged and sold, fueling a massive industry built on our personal data. Companies predict our desires before we even know them ourselves. Governments monitor our moves, sometimes in the name of security, sometimes for control. Our lives are open books, written in code and stored on distant servers. But it's not about hiding from the world. It's about protecting what's yours. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your private moments. It's about drawing a line and saying, "This is mine." Convenience has cost us our privacy, and most people don't even realize what they've given up. We trade our information for free apps and instant access, rarely stopping to think about the consequences. Data isn't just for ads anymore. It's used to influence opinions, profile personalities, and sometimes even manipulate or control our choices. The stakes are higher than ever. That's where an anonymous OS comes in. It's a way to reclaim control, to use the internet on your terms, without leaving a trail for others to follow. It's about taking back your digital life. Privacy is a right, not a luxury reserved for activists, whistleblowers, or journalists. It's something everyone deserves, no matter who you are or what you do. It's essential for freedom, for creativity, for safety, and for the simple peace of mind that comes from knowing your life is your own. That's why I decided to find out just how anonymous you can really be in 2026. Is it possible to live online without being watched, tracked, or profiled? My mission: find the most secure, anonymous OS out there and try to live with it. No shortcuts, no compromises. I want to know if true digital privacy is still possible. Is it practical? Is it just paranoia? Or is it the only way forward in a world where digital freedom is under threat? Join me as I dive deep into the world of privacy-focused operating systems, exploring what works, what doesn't, and what it really takes to disappear online. Let's find out together if a regular person can truly vanish from the digital map, or if privacy in 2026 is just an illusion. This project started as a personal experiment, but it quickly became something much bigger. It began with a creeping discomfort about how much tech companies know about us, about me. I'd always been a little uneasy about the amount of information I was giving away, but I never realized just how much until I started paying attention. Every notification, every app update, every personalized suggestion made me wonder, who's really watching? Who's collecting all this data? And for what purpose? The more I thought about it, the more I realized how little control I actually had. The turning point came when I saw a targeted ad for something I'd only mentioned in a private voice chat with a friend. It was unsettling, almost like someone had been eavesdropping on my conversation. That's when it hit me. Privacy isn't just a buzzword, it's a real concern. That's when I realized our devices are always listening, always collecting, always learning. It's not just about convenience. It's about surveillance, often hidden in plain sight. It's not just about ads. It's about the principle. The idea that my digital life is being tracked, analyzed, and sold without my full understanding or consent felt wrong. Every day we generate a staggering amount of data. Our location, browsing history, purchases, messages, even our habits and routines. All of it is stored somewhere. All of it potentially vulnerable to misuse or exploitation. I wanted to break free from this invisible web, to see if I could exist online without leaving a trace. Was true digital invisibility even possible for an ordinary person? The plan was simple in theory. Find the most hardcore privacy-focused operating system, document every step of the journey, and see if it's actually doable for someone determined but not necessarily a tech expert. But this wasn't just about installing new software, it was about adopting a whole new mindset. It meant questioning every digital habit, every click, every login. I expected frustration, compatibility issues, and a steep learning curve. I knew there would be moments when I'd want to give up, when things just wouldn't work the way I was used to. But that's the price of privacy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I was ready to pay that price, at least for the sake of this experiment. I wanted to demystify the process, to make mistakes so you don't have to. If I could figure it out, maybe others could too. Maybe we could all take back a little bit of control. This was about taking back control, one command line at a time, one decision at a time. It was about reclaiming my digital life from the companies and algorithms that had quietly taken it over. So, let's see what it really takes to be invisible in a world that's always watching. Choosing the right OS was the first challenge. Tails is great for temporary anonymity, but I wanted something persistent. Cube's OS is powerful but complex and resource-hungry. After research and expert advice, I landed on SpectreOS, a new uncompromising privacy OS. It routes all traffic through Tor, spoofs hardware addresses, and scrubs metadata by default. No permanent user profiles. Everything is ephemeral unless you encrypt it. It's tough to install and tougher to master, but that's the point. If I could make SpectreOS work, I'd know I'd reached the peak of personal digital privacy. You can't use your main computer for this. I built a dedicated privacy rig, a second-hand ThinkPad T480, bought with cash, with open-source friendly hardware. Physical switches for webcam and mic, replaceable Wi-Fi card, no proprietary drivers. I set up a clean room by downloading SpectreOS from a public library, over Tor, on a live Linux USB. No home IPs, no digital fingerprints. I verified the ISO's cryptographic signature, no shortcuts. A compromised installer defeats the whole point. With a verified ISO and clean hardware, I was ready to create the bootable media. Paranoia? Maybe. But that's how you start anonymous. To kick things off, I used the classic DD command in Linux to create my bootable USB drive. No fancy graphical tools or automated wizards, just the raw power of the terminal and a bit of patience. This method might seem intimidating, but it gives you total control over the process, ensuring nothing unnecessary gets added to your installer. I was extra careful here, triple-checking device names in the terminal to make absolutely sure I didn't accidentally wipe the wrong drive. One wrong letter, and you could lose everything on your main disk. After about 15 minutes of watching the progress bar crawl across the screen, my SpectreOS installer was finally ready to go. It felt like a small victory. Next, I rebooted my ThinkPad and dove into the BIOS settings. I made sure to disable Secure Boot and the Intel Management Engine, two features that can introduce unwanted backdoors or limit your control over the hardware. I also set the USB drive as the first boot device, so the system would load my installer right away instead of the existing operating system. When the SpectreOS bootloader finally appeared on the screen, I breathed a sigh of relief. It was a reassuring sign that everything so far had worked as planned. Before installing, I decided to test the live environment first. This step is crucial. It lets you check if your hardware is compatible before making any permanent changes. Everything worked right out of the box. Wi-Fi connected instantly, the trackpad was responsive, and there were no error messages or glitches. Even better, the system connected to the Tor network immediately. The desktop was clean and minimalist, with no unnecessary distractions or bloatware. Confident that everything was working, I clicked the Install button to start the real installation process. This was the moment I'd been preparing for. With a deep breath, I pressed enter. This was the point of no return, the start of my journey toward true privacy and control over my digital life. The installer was all business, text-based, no frills. Full disk encryption with LukeS was mandatory. I set a long, complex passphrase. Forget it, and your data's gone. Chose to wipe the entire drive and let the installer handle partitions. Transparent process. Every command visible, no hidden magic. Created a generic user account, no personal info. Configured Tor connection, skipped bridges for now. Installed Grub bootloader, removed USB and rebooted. At boot, entered my encryption passphrase. The system decrypted and loaded up. I was inside my new digital fortress. SpectreOS greeted me with a bare-bones desktop. No fluff, just security tools. Tor browser, encrypted text editor, metadata scrubber, secure messenger, no games, no office suite. Everything is temporary unless you move it to a special encrypted, persistent folder. I tweaked firewall rules and kernel settings for extra security. Every change was manual, no easy menus, just config files. It forced me to think about every file I kept. Even small fixes like trackpad sensitivity required command line edits. It's not convenient, but it's empowering. After a few hours, the system was locked down and ready. Now, could I actually live in it? Installing an anonymous OS is just the start. The real challenge is using it right. Biggest risk? Linking your real identity to your anonymous one. Never log into personal accounts through Tor. Don't customize the Tor browser. Uniqueness makes you easier to track. Always scrub metadata from files before sharing. Assume every file contains hidden info until you clean it. Don't get cocky. No OS can save you from careless mistakes or phishing. Good OPSEC means thinking before every click. What are you revealing? Who's watching? An anonymous OS demands constant vigilance. You're not just a user, you're your own security team. After weeks with SpectreOS, is it worth it? For most people, probably not. Too inconvenient, too restrictive. But for journalists, activists, or anyone serious about privacy, it's a lifeline. It's not magic. It's a tool that requires effort and discipline. I won't use it for daily tasks, but for sensitive work, it's invaluable. More importantly, it changed my mindset. Now I'm always aware of my digital footprint. Should you try it? If you care about privacy, absolutely. Even experimenting with a privacy OS will teach you more than any article. In 2026, taking back your digital life is radical and necessary. It's not easy, but it's worth it.